The Andy Griffith Show welcomed viewers into a small town filled with humor, warmth, and unforgettable everyday moments. For generations, its characters felt less like television roles and more like familiar neighbors. But after 66 years, time has changed the cast in heartbreaking ways. Many beloved faces are gone, while only a few may still remain. In this video, we look back at the Andy Griffith Show cast, then and now, in 2026. Andy Griffith was born in 1926 in Mount Airy, North Carolina. He was 34 when he played Sheriff Andy Taylor. Easygoing, warm, and quietly wise, Griffith gave Mayberry the kind of sheriff who could solve a problem with a smile before ever reaching for the law book. Before Mayberry became his television home, Griffith had already made his name through comedy, music, stage work, and the film A Face in the Crowd. He later returned to TV success with Matlock, showing a sharper courtroom side. He died in 2012 at age 86 after suffering a heart attack. Andy Taylor felt less like a sitcom character and more like someone folks actually knew. Griffith gave him patience, humor, and that front porch kind of kindness, making Mayberry feel like a place viewers wanted to visit every week. Frances Bavier was born in 1902 in New York City. She was 57 when she played Aunt Bee Taylor. Gentle, fussy, and full of old-fashioned warmth, Bavier made Aunt Bee feel like the heart of the Taylor home, always ready with a meal, a worry, or a quiet little lesson. Frances Bavier brought real stage experience into Aunt Bee, with years of Broadway and film work behind her before television made her a household name. After the show, she stepped away from acting and lived quietly in North Carolina. She died in 1989 at age 86 after suffering heart failure. Aunt Bee gave the show its home-cooked comfort. Bavier made her sweet without making her weak, funny without making her foolish, and caring in a way that helped Mayberry feel less like a TV town and more like family. Don Knotts was born in 1924 in Morgantown, West Virginia. He was 36 when he played Barney Fife. Skinny, jumpy, and way too proud of that deputy badge, Knotts gave Mayberry its funniest nervous wreck. Barney wanted to look brave so badly, and that was half the joke. That twitchy comic timing did not come out of nowhere. Knotts sharpened it through live comedy, radio, and television, then carried the same nervous magic into films like The Ghost and Mr. Chicken and The Incredible Mr. Limpet. He died in 2006 at age 81 from complications related to lung cancer. Barney Fife was ridiculous, but never empty. Knotts gave him panic, ego, loyalty, and a heart that was always in the right place. He could mess up the simplest job and still somehow make you love him more. George Lindsey was born in 1928 in Fairfield, Alabama. He was 35 when he played Goober Pyle. Goofy, friendly, and full of small-town grease monkey charm, Lindsey made Goober feel like the guy at the filling station who always had a joke, a grin, or a bad impression ready. Lindsey carried that easy Southern humor into Mayberry RFD, Hee Haw, and even voice work for Disney films like The Aristocats and Robin Hood. He died in 2012 at age 83 after suffering heart failure. Goober brought a looser, sillier energy to Mayberry without breaking its sweetness. Lindsey played him like a man who was never trying to be smart or stylish, just helpful, funny, and happy to be part of the town. That kind of simple charm fit Mayberry perfectly. Howard McNear was born in 1905 in Los Angeles, California. He was 55 when he played Floyd Lawson. Soft-spoken, fussy, and wonderfully odd, McNear made the town barber feel like Mayberry's unofficial gossip station, always trimming hair while quietly stirring up conversation. McNear had a rich career in radio before television, especially on the radio version of Gunsmoke, where he played Doc Adams. A stroke later affected his health, but he still returned to the Andy Griffith Show in a more limited way. He died in 1969 at age 63 from complications following a stroke. Floyd did not need big jokes to be funny. McNear made every pause, sideways look, and strange little comment feel perfectly timed. His barbershop gave Mayberry one of its warmest corners, a place where nothing much happened, but somehow everything felt alive. Tom Jacobs was born in 1903 in Monroe, Michigan. He was 57 when he appeared as a townsman. Quiet, familiar, and easy to blend into the sidewalks of Mayberry, Jacobs had the kind of background presence that made the town feel busy without ever calling attention to himself. You could spot Jacobs across classic television in small roles, including The Danny Thomas Show, The Joey Bishop Show, and many Mayberry crowd scenes. He was not the guy chasing punchlines, but the kind of steady-face sitcoms needed to make a place feel lived in. He died in 1976 at age 72, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, Jacobs helped give Mayberry its everyday rhythm. He might be standing near a store, sitting in a crowd, or passing through a scene, but that was the charm. He made the town feel like it had real people beyond Andy, Barney, and the courthouse. Aneta Corsaut was born in 1933 in Hutchinson, Kansas. She was 29 when she played Helen Crump. Smart, composed, and not easily pushed around, Corsaut gave Mayberry a schoolteacher who could match Andy's calm charm without losing her own backbone. Her screen life had more range than some casual fans realize, from the sci-fi classic The Blob with Steve McQueen to later appearances on Matlock. Still, Helen Crump became the role that stayed closest to classic TV viewers. She died in 1995 at age 62 after a battle with cancer. Helen brought a different kind of warmth to the show. Corsaut made her kind, steady, and quietly strong, not just Andy's girlfriend. She felt like someone who really belonged in Mayberry, the teacher who could handle a classroom, a small-town rumor, and Sheriff Taylor all at once. Jack Dodson was born in 1931 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was 34 when he played Howard Sprague. Neat, nervous, and wonderfully awkward, Dodson made the county clerk feel like Mayberry's most lovable overthinker. Dodson came from the stage, and you can feel that careful comic control in the way he handled Howard's pauses, worries, and tiny social disasters. He also carried the character into Mayberry RFD, and later popped up in shows like Happy Days. He died in 1994 at age 63 after suffering heart failure. Howard Sprague was funny because he tried so hard to be proper. Dodson gave him a fussy little dignity. Like every small problem in Mayberry might become a personal crisis. He added a quieter, nerdier kind of comedy that fit the town perfectly. Hal Smith was born in 1916 in Petoskey, Michigan. He was 44 when he played Otis Campbell. Cheerful, messy, and somehow harmless even when he locked himself in jail, Smith made Otis one of Mayberry's strangest little comforts. There was a lot more to Smith than Otis and that famous jail cell. His voice showed up all over classic cartoons, including work connected to Winnie the Pooh, the Flintstones, and other animated favorites. He died in 1994 at age 77, apparently after a heart attack. Otis could have been a one-note joke, but Smith gave him sweetness. He made the town drunk feel oddly lovable, like Mayberry had already forgiven him before he even stumbled through the courthouse door. Hope Summers was born in 1896 in Mattoon, Illinois. She was 64 when she played Clara Edwards. Nosy, cheerful, and full of church social energy, Summers gave Mayberry the kind of neighbor who always had an opinion and probably a casserole nearby. Summers had that perfect small-town face, and you can spot her in shows like Dennis the Menace, Hazel, and The Rifleman. She died in 1979 at age 83 after suffering heart failure. Clara Edwards brought a busy little spark to the town. Summers made her fussy, funny, and familiar, the kind of woman who could turn a tiny misunderstanding into Mayberry gossip before supper. Betty Lynn was born in 1926 in Kansas City, Missouri. She was 34 when she played Thelma Lou. Sweet, patient, and quietly stronger than Barney deserved sometimes, Lynn gave Mayberry one of its warmest romantic touches. Lynn had worked in film and television before Mayberry, including Sitting Pretty and June Bride, but Thelma Lou was the role fans kept closest. She died in 2021 at age 95 after a brief illness. Thelma Lou made Barney's nervous little world feel softer. Lynn played her with real kindness, but also enough backbone to let you know she saw right through his nonsense, and loved him anyway. Jim Nabors was born in 1930 in Sylacauga, Alabama. He was 32 when he played Gomer Pyle. Sweet, wide-eyed, and full of that famous, golly innocence, Nabors gave Mayberry one of its most lovable oddballs. Gomer was simple in the best way. Not dumb, just honest enough to make everybody else look a little too complicated. There was a surprise behind that country boy voice. Nabors had a rich baritone that took him from sitcom laughs to records, concerts, and even his own variety show. He also carried Gomer into Gomer Pyle, USMC, turning a side character into a whole TV world. He died in 2017 at age 87, with natural causes widely reported. Gomer brought a big, gentle heart to Mayberry. Nabors made him funny without ever making him mean, and that is why fans stayed with him. Every confused smile, every Shazam, and every burst of kindness felt like pure small-town comfort. Paul Hartman was born in 1904 in San Francisco, California. He was 63 when he played Emmett Clark. Dry, cranky, and always ready with a practical complaint, Hartman gave Mayberry a handyman who felt like he had fixed every loose hinge and heard every silly problem in town. Hartman's timing came from a lifetime of performing, not just sitcom work. He and his wife Grace had been a popular dance comedy team, and he later moved easily through stage, film, and television. Mayberry gave him a late career role that fit his worn-in comic style. He died in 1973 at age 69 after suffering a heart attack. Emmett added a little old guy bite to the later Mayberry years. Hartman made him gruff but never cold, the kind of man who might complain the whole time he helped you, and still show up with his tools anyway. Mary Lansing was born in 1911 in Shreveport, Louisiana. She was 56 when she played Martha Clark. Warm, familiar, and easy to believe as part of Mayberry's everyday life, Lansing gave Martha that quiet, small-town wife energy that never needed a big spotlight to feel real. Lansing was one of those classic TV faces who helped build the background of a town. She appeared in several roles on The Andy Griffith Show, then continued into Mayberry RFD and other television work. She died in 1988 at age 77, with the cause not widely reported. Martha Clark was not written to steal scenes, and that was fine. Lansing made her feel like someone you might actually see at church, the market, or leaning into a bit of town gossip. She helped Mayberry feel full, lived in, and quietly familiar. Robert McQuain was born in 1933 in Pennsylvania. He was 27 when he played Joe Waters. Young, neat, and easy to place inside Mayberry's everyday crowd, McQuain gave the town another familiar face, without needing to push for attention. McQuain's screen work was limited, which makes him one of those names only close Andy Griffith Show fans tend to notice. He was part of the quiet background rhythm that helped the show feel less like a set and more like a real little town. He died in 1999 at age 65, with the cause not widely reported. Joe Waters was not a big Mayberry personality, and that was kind of the point. McQuain helped fill out the world around Andy, Barney, and Aunt Bee. One more ordinary face in a town built on ordinary charm. Burt Mustin was born in 1884 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was 76 when he played Judd Fletcher. Tiny, wrinkled, and wonderfully lively, Mustin brought Mayberry the kind of old-timer energy that made every porch, bench, and town meeting feel more authentic. Mustin did not even start acting seriously on screen until later in life, which makes his long list of TV appearances even more impressive. You can spot him in Leave It to Beaver, All in the Family, and many classic sitcoms. He died in 1977 at age 92 after suffering a heart attack. Judd Fletcher had that old man sparkle Mayberry loved. Mustin could walk into a scene, drop one line, and make it feel like the town had 100 years of stories hiding behind it. Richard Keith was born in 1950 in Lafayette, Louisiana. He was 12 when he played Johnny Paul Jason. Young, musical, and full of kid-next-door brightness, Keith gave Mayberry another schoolyard face from Opie's world. Keith was already known to classic TV fans as Little Ricky on I Love Lucy, and he later moved further into music instead of chasing a long Hollywood spotlight. As of 2026, he is 75 years old and has lived a quieter life away from regular acting. Johnny Paul Jason added to the childhood side of Mayberry. Keith made him feel like one of those kids you would see near the school, the street, or tagging along in Opie's little adventures. Small, simple, and sweetly familiar. Joseph Crehan was born in 1883 in Baltimore, Maryland. He was 77 when he appeared as a townsman. Older, dignified, and carrying that classic Hollywood face, Crehan gave Mayberry one more bit of old-time character in the background. Crehan had already lived a huge screen career before Mayberry, appearing in hundreds of films and famously playing Ulysses S. Grant many times. He was the kind of actor who could walk through a scene and bring decades of movie history with him. He died in 1966 at age 82, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, Crehan was not there for big laughs or dramatic speeches. His presence simply helped Mayberry feel fuller, older, and more lived in, like the town had stories stretching back long before Andy and Barney showed up. Eleanor Donahue was born in 1937 in Tacoma, Washington. She was 23 when she played Ellie Walker. Bright, graceful, and easy to like, Donahue gave Mayberry a young pharmacist with a little modern spark and a calm confidence beside Andy Taylor. She had already been loved by TV families as Betty Anderson on Father Knows Best, then kept popping up in memorable roles on shows like Star Trek, The Odd Couple, and later Pretty Woman. As of 2026, she is 89 years old and retired from acting. Ellie Walker brought a different kind of charm to the early Mayberry years. Donahue made her warm, smart, and not too easily impressed, which gave her scenes with Andy a sweet but grown-up kind of chemistry. Jack Burns was born in 1933 in Boston, Massachusetts. He was 31 when he played Deputy Warren Ferguson. Talkative, awkward, and eager to prove himself, Burns stepped into Mayberry with a very different comic rhythm from Barney Fife. Burns had real comedy roots, from working with George Carlin to teaming with Avery Schreiber, and later writing for shows like The Muppet Show and Hee Haw. He died in 2020 at age 86 after suffering respiratory failure. Warren Ferguson was always going to be a tough role, because nobody could simply replace Barney. Burns gave him nervous energy, odd timing, and a slightly different kind of small-town foolishness. A short chapter, but still part of Mayberry history. Dick Elliott was born in 1886 in Boston, Massachusetts. He was 74 when he played Mayor Pike. Round-faced, fussy, and full of small-town importance, Elliott made the mayor feel like the kind of man who took every little Mayberry issue way more seriously than it needed. Elliott had been around Hollywood for years, usually playing judges, officials, businessmen, and men who looked like they belonged behind a desk. By the time he reached Mayberry, he already had that perfect old comedy authority built into his face and voice. He died in 1961 at age 75, with the cause not widely reported. Mayor Pike gave Mayberry a little civic flavor. Elliott made him proper, slightly puffed up, and funny, without trying too hard. He felt like the town leader who wanted order, even when Barney and the rest of Mayberry kept making order nearly impossible. Joseph Hamilton was born in 1899 in Pennsylvania. He was 62 when he appeared as a townsman. Quiet, older, and easy to believe in a Mayberry crowd, Hamilton brought the kind of background presence that helped the town feel real without needing a big introduction. In shows like this, a familiar face on the sidewalk, in the courthouse, or near a town gathering helped sell the idea that Mayberry had a life beyond the main cast. He died in 1965, at age 66, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, Hamilton was part of the soft background rhythm of Mayberry. He did not need a punchline or a big scene. His job was to make the town feel populated, ordinary, and comfortable, and that quiet kind of work helped the show breathe. Sheldon Collins was born in 1955 in New York. He was 11 when he played Arnold Bailey. Young, sharp, and full of kid energy, Collins gave Mayberry another face from Opie's world, the kind of boy who made the town feel like it had a real schoolyard beyond the courthouse and barbershop. Collins appeared in classic television as a child actor, including roles on The Andy Griffith Show, The Dick Van Dyke Show, and I Dream of Jeannie. He later stepped away from acting and lived a much quieter life outside the regular Hollywood spotlight. As of 2026, he is 71 years old. Arnold Bailey added to the childhood side of Mayberry, where small problems could feel huge and every kid had a little personality of his own. Collins made him feel natural, not overly polished, which fit perfectly with the show's warm, small-town charm. Alan Melvin was born in 1923 in Kansas City, Missouri. He was 39 when he played Hotel Detective Bardoli. Broad, loud, and naturally funny, Melvin had the kind of comic presence that could walk into Mayberry and immediately make the room feel busier. Melvin's voice and face turned up everywhere in classic television, from The Phil Silvers Show and The Brady Bunch to cartoon work as Magilla Gorilla. He had that working actor magic, never too fancy, always dependable, and almost always funny. He died in 2008 at age 84 after a battle with cancer. Hotel Detective Bardoli was a guest role, but Melvin made even short appearances feel alive. He brought a punchy, old-school sitcom rhythm, the kind that fit perfectly with Mayberry's gentle awkwardness and small misunderstandings. Roy Engel was born in 1913 in St. Louis, Missouri. He was 48 when he appeared as a townsman. Serious-faced, steady, and easy to believe in a small-town crowd, Engel gave Mayberry the kind of background authority that made even ordinary scenes feel grounded. Engel showed up across classic television for years, often playing doctors, judges, officials, and quiet men with responsibility on their shoulders. You can spot him in shows like Bonanza, Perry Mason, and The Twilight Zone. He died in 1980 at age 67 after suffering from meningitis. As a townsman, Engel helped fill out Mayberry's grown-up world. He was not there to steal the joke. He was there to make the town feel normal, settled, and real. The kind of place where every face seemed to have a story. Ron Howard was born in 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma. He was only 6 when he played Opie Taylor. Bright-eyed, honest, and never too cute in a fake way, Howard gave Andy's son the kind of natural kid energy that made the show feel warm from the very start. Howard grew far beyond Mayberry, moving from child actor to Happy Days star, then becoming an Oscar-winning director with films like Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, and Frost Nixon. As of 2026, he is 72 years old and still active behind the camera. Opie was the heart of the father-son side of the show. Howard made him curious, stubborn, funny, and sweet without overdoing it. His scenes with Andy gave Mayberry some of its most human moments, simple, gentle, and still easy to love decades later. Thanks for watching. The memories of this classic show still bring smiles after all these years. Subscribe for more then and now stories from television's golden age.